What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of HermitPack on the HermitCraft server. Oh yeah, guys. So, last episode, we set up our cow friend over here to get milked automatically by the mechanical user. The bucket of milk that's being milked goes into the mechanical crafter, turns into fresh milk, and that gets stored over here into the quantum storage. The bucket goes back over here, and the process repeats indefinitely. Does not require any power at all. Just requires a cow. So this has been running since the last episode, and we now have 408,000 fresh milk. Yeah, that means this cow has been milked 100,000 times since the last episode. That poor cow. That poor cow. You know what? I'm tired of hearing the sound. I'm sure that cow is about tired of being milked. Let's stop it. Yeah, okay, so we went a little overboard on this. I probably should have turned it off. But I just left it going. I logged out. Yep, and now we have all of the milk. So that's pretty cool. Let me go ahead and grab a soul vial here. We'll pick up Mrs. Cow, Mr. Cow. I think you've done enough. You've served your purpose, cow. I think we will set you outside, back where we got you. Let you roam free. Actually, you know what? How about we just set you up over here where we never really go? It's kind of a nice area. Got some owls nearby. There you go. Have fun. Okay, so it wasn't meant to be a permanent setup over there. That was kind of meant to be a temporary thing just to check it out, kind of like proof of concept that this thing works. And obviously it does work. It works so good we don't need milk ever again. So for those of you who didn't see the last episode, we were milking this cow because we need milk. We need milk to make cakes. Cakes are used in the recipe for more hearts. Am I not getting these back? I am getting them back. It's just popping in my inventory instantly. So yes, we were looking at getting heart containers, if I could type right. So yes, we need cakes, and you can use fresh milk in the recipe with some flour, honey, or sugar, egg, or raw tofu, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that was the purpose of this. We wanted to check out these mechanical users. And yeah, we got that set up quite nicely. Like I said, I don't think we're going to be needing these anymore because we now have literally all of the milk. But it was kind of cool seeing how the mechanical crafter and the mechanical user both work. They don't require power. They do require grid power if you want to use the speed upgrades on them and make them go faster. By the way, have I shown you guys where I put my grid power? Like, it's not around here anymore. It's actually behind this wall right here. So yes, I have that all back here, all of them. And I kind of changed the design a little bit so it's not spread out as much, but yeah, every single one of these is doing 16 GP per, well, I guess not these back ones, but all these other ones, okay, maybe not all of them. Anyway, we got more GP than what we really need to use. So it's perfectly fine. I did actually make more of those water mills than what we had previously. So even though not all of them are getting the maximum amount of power, we're still making more power overall. So now that we have all this milk, we can make the cakes for these heart canisters, and we can look at making more hearts. Now, you guys had also told me in the comments, I didn't know this before, but you guys had told me that the maximum amount of hearts that you can get, the maximum amount of upgrades is only 10. So we don't need to go crazy overboard with this. But it was kind of a fun project anyway, just checking that out and seeing how that works. So we're going to need rabbits. I don't really know where you get rabbits around here. I don't know if I've seen a rabbit recently. Maybe we should grab one and grab a spawner for that or something. I'm not entirely sure what we should do about that. Beetroot, though, we do have that. We have plenty of beetroot seeds, and I know exactly how to grow a lot of beets pretty quickly. Yeah, we can use our imaginary time block over here and our wheat field. I have turned this wheat field off. We've let this thing go for a while. It's just using the greenhouse glass up here and just the dirt. It's just been growing naturally. Pretty much just with the greenhouse glass is the only thing that's been going on now. And it is just storing all of that stuff right here. So we got 66,000 wheat on tap. Another thing I discovered with this thing that keeps breaking every time I log out and log in, if I like point this at the ground and then point it back to the mana pool, it stops. So whatever it's doing, you can fix it that way, which is nice. So anyway, we can go ahead and replace one of these sections of our crop field here. Let me just go ahead and do that so you can have access to that. I guess we could do like half of it with beets. Oh, you can't put beets in here. Oh, wait, is it because it's locked? Oh, it's because it was locked. Okay, so we can do that. So we can replace half of that with beet, have it grow the beets, and then we can craft it that way. I think that might be kind of cool. I think, though, I might have to get rid of all the wheat here in order for it to plant properly, since it plants each one of these in a specific quadrant, and I don't know if this one is this quadrant or this one. I have no idea. So let's get rid of all this. We'll turn it back on, let it plant. We'll get some of those beet roots. Let's see. Always active. Okay, so it's planting something. I don't know which one is planting where. All right, so we can turn on the imaginary time block. Okay, so our beets are over here. So that should be harvesting those. We don't have a spot for those to be stored, so we can just grab them right out of here. That's perfectly fine. We are collecting extra beetroot seeds as well. So we can go and turn this thing off. Let's see. Yeah, we'll finish letting that collect the rest of those, and then I can grab the beetroots. We don't need those planted here anymore. So now we got over a stack of these things, some extra seeds. We can grab those things out of there, and then we can fill that back in with wheat seeds. Lock it up once again. Yep, and let's go ahead and remove the beetroots from over here. Is it these as well? Yeah, I think... Where does it end? Those are seeds. These are beetroot. Alright, so we'll just do this. Get rid of all these beets. Let it turn back into wheat, and let this thing continue on. Alright guys, well we ended up with plenty of beetroot after we got done using the farmer over there. So now I needed to collect a little bit of the poisonous potatoes. So I did the same thing. I swapped out the seeds for the potatoes. It took us this many to be grown to get 28 poisonous. We don't really need 28, but that's what we ended up with. Anyway, so we got the poisonous potato thing set up. Now I just went over to the desert by Azuma's base. Yeah, I was looking for rabbits. I have not seen any rabbits around. I searched around, I looked in the plains, I looked in the forest, I couldn't find any. So I went over to Azuma's base over in the desert where I know there are rabbits, and I soul vialed one of them, put it into the spawner, made a power spawner out of it, and now we get a lot of XP from these rabbits, which we got to figure out what we're going to do. This will end up lagging us if we don't do anything with that. But yeah, the bunnies spawn without grass, which is interesting because I think we were trying to spawn in like cows or whatever, and they wouldn't spawn with the powered spawner. At least I'm pretty sure that's what we were doing, right? Anyway, or was that like a pig spawner? I can't remember what we were doing. But either way, we are able to spawn in rabbits in our chamber here. They are being killed with our spikes like the rest of our mobs, which is pretty cool. And down below, we don't have a proper storage system for these things since this is kind of a temporary setup. We are collecting rabbit's feet, rabbit hide, and the raw rabbit. We just needed some of this rabbit. Anyway, the raw rabbit. So we can turn this off right now. Don't need to needlessly kill bunnies after what we already got. So I'll let those guys not spawn in anymore. Okay, so we got the raw rabbit. So I think we might be pretty close here. Let's just take another look and see what we got. So yes, we have pretty much everything. We do actually have some salmon. I had some of this before in the system. I think we had 8 of it. So now we should have a total of 12. Yeah, we have 12 of those. If we only need to make 9 more hearts, that's not a big deal. So I think we should have pretty much everything. We need to make these cakes. So we can go ahead and do that. We need sugar. So how many hearts do we need to make? 9 more hearts. So let's make 9 more cakes. We need 18 sugar. Very good. We'll do that. 9 cakes coming up. Cool. Thankfully, we have a lot of these eggs in the system. What else did we need? We need the pumpkin pies. In order to do that, we need pumpkin, sugar, and eggs as well. I don't know. Do we have pumpkins? Yeah, we have 1 pumpkin pie in the system, I think from Thanksgiving, but we don't have any more. Now, I know we had pumpkins back behind the base over here, so I'm going to go ahead and collect those up, and I'm going to collect the rest of the ingredients we need, and we should be able to make the 9 hearts, yeah, required, or I guess the 9 hearts that we can make in order to get our extra health. Alright guys, well all the crafting recipes are complete. Yep, I ended up making 10 of these because I just want to make sure that you can only have up to 10 of these extra hearts. So let's go ahead and get to nomming here. So that should be, yeah, we'll should have 1 left over by the time we have 20 hearts. Hopefully we can get more than that, but yeah, I think you guys are right that we probably should only be able to get 10 more of these, or 10 of these total. Okay, so I just ate an 11th one. We don't have an 11th heart. So yeah, it looks like up to 10, and then anything else beyond that is just wasted. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. We now have 20 health containers. I like it. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like Tinkers has any other way, like it's had in the past, for us to raise our health. Maybe that's a feature they'll implement once again. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So we found out how to make those hard containers. It was a little bit of an involved process, especially getting all the cake and stuff. I have no idea what we're going to do with the 400,000 plus milk that we have here. Maybe we can find a recipe. Oh, you know what? We get this heart back. Is it like you eat it and it doesn't do anything so you get it back? I guess so. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with this 400,000 milk that we have left. I mean, I guess we don't have to do anything with it. I can just sit there in that quantum storage. Quantum storage is super cheap. I don't know what we're going to do with this heart either. Maybe we'll gift it to somebody. We'll figure that out in the future. But yeah, that was quite a fun project. So another thing I wanted to work on today. Last episode, we had set up this system right here. So it processed our ores, all of these different ores through the sag mill, which would go into the alloy smelter and then back into the system. So now we have a lot of the ores that are processed. But it's pointed out to me in the comments that Mekanism has a way to turn the ores into a 5x system. So yeah, I think I would like to start looking at that for our future ore collection and processing. I don't know how much more we're going to need, but I do know we didn't process any of the osmium ore, so that'd be a perfect candidate for setting up the 5 times ore processing. It looks like a very involved process. I've never done this before, and I know we're going to need a lot of machines. So for instance, if we look at osmium, the ore here, and we look at the uses for this, if we go back, this is the first step that we need to do, is put it into the chemical dissolution chamber. So the ore goes in this machine with sulfuric acid and turns into an osmium slurry. Right. Getting the sulfuric acid, though, this is the part where we should probably start. We should figure out how this is made and how to get a nice supply of this so we can fill up a chemical dissolution chamber full of this stuff, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look at that first. All right, guys, well, probably one of the first things that we need to do, if we're going to start looking at making sulfuric acid and we're going to start looking at making this whole 5 times ore processing setup, yeah, we need to get ourselves a larger area to work in. Most of these Mekanism machines that we've seen so far make a lot of sound, and a lot of the sounds that they make are sounds that I don't want to hear all the time. So we could put it way back here in this area. We could do that. I don't really know how big of a space we need for any of this stuff. This might be big enough, this might not. I mean, I guess we could also make like a basement or something if we need some more space, but I think this will probably be what we use for this space back here for, is all of the Mekanism stuff that we need, just out of, earshot from where we're going to be most of the time, right? Okay, so we'll have to work on finishing up that room. I did just go ahead and make myself a couple dimensional transceivers and a bunch of other items here to kind of get us started. But I've never used one of these dimensional transceivers before. They're like tesseracts, right? So you can set them on a thing and they can send power wirelessly. But like I said, I've never used one before, so I don't really know how they work. I don't know how to set one up. So we'll just go ahead and set this guy right here and let's see what it says. We got send receive buffer, maximum input or output is 40,960. Okay. We have a local buffer. We have send and receive. I assume this is items. We really care about power. That's the only thing that I care about. Send filter. I guess this is the power. This is the item. And then this would be fluid. Okay, that makes sense. So power, we want, let's see, public channel, private channel. What do we have here? Can I just do, I have to give it a number or do I just give it a name? Test? Add channel test. Okay, so we'll say main power. Add. Available as main power. So if I do send, okay, so we're sending on the main power channel. I assume that's what that means, right? So then we don't want to receive, we just want to send. I think that's how that works. It seems like it, right? I mean, I don't know how else you'd have that set up. Okay, so we'd want to set up this other thing over, well, way over here, I guess, and check it out. We can set down one of these other machines I have and see if they actually receive power first of all. So we'll set this guy down. And we'll go to the power tab, main power, receive. Looks like that's got power, right? So if I set like this crusher down, for instance, which does not have power in it. What? Oh, you know what? That's got power in it probably because of the wireless thing. Okay, well, I guess that's not a good example. yeah, we can just see right here that this thing has power in it just by switching it to that channel. So I assume we have access to 40,000 RF per tick from this guy. Okay, very good. So the reason why I have all these machines here, we need to make sulfuric acid. And in order to make sulfuric acid, we need gunpowder. That's like one of the starting steps. In order to get gunpowder, we can set up a creeper spawner and just collect it, right? I'm thinking it's probably going to make more sense if we just use machines and create it ourselves in an all-contained area. I'd kind of like to make, if we're going to be doing this ore processing thing using Mekanism with all this crazy stuff, I'd kind of like to keep everything localized and use as many Mekanism machines as possible to do what we want to do. So the idea is we're going to start off by making a cobblestone generator. So that's a pretty simple thing. Are those blocks? Okay, I guess I'm getting a little bit of lag. I don't know if that's server lag or if that's just my internet at this time of day. It's just kind of acting up. Usually later in the afternoon, for some reason, my internet just is like, you know what? I'm not gonna, I'm just not gonna work like you want me to. No, we're just gonna lag a little bit. So hopefully it's not that. But anyway, we can do a lava generator by putting lava on one side, water on the other, with cobblestone in between. We can use one of these transfer nodes from extra utilities. It's a thing we've seen a lot in the past. Although this mod has been updated, this is extra utilities too. I actually have not used this before. But I do know that there's an upgrade mining. It says allow mining of cobblestone and pumping of water. So we use the same upgrade. Previously, this was called a world interaction upgrade. You just stick it right in here and I assume, yeah, look, we're collecting cobble already. Cool. So we can collect cobble right like that, and then we can store it into here. I guess we need a pipe. Yeah, that's another thing. In extra utilities 1, that transfer node, if you put anything next to it, it'd like have its own little pipe. You make a stack of these at a time, by the way, which is a little bit, I think that's a little crazy. I don't know. Maybe these pipes aren't that good. Do we do that? Okay, yeah. Okay, so we click the pipe right on there, right like that. So we add that to the same block. And yeah, we are collecting cobblestone decently fast. I don't know really how fast we need this stuff. Okay, so we have the cobblestone there. We are going to pump that into a crusher. Maybe we could pump that directly into a crusher. Maybe I can move that over where this basic drawer is. I don't know. We want the cobblestone to go into the crusher. We want the crusher to crush the cobblestone. Let's grab a little bit. To crush the cobblestone, that should turn that into gravel. We want to turn that gravel with the mechanical crafter into flint. There's not a lot of good ways to do flint. You can use other machines like a sag mill, or I guess we could use the macerator from IC2 to do it. But again, like I said, I want to try and make this use the power, or I guess use all the machines from Mekanism. So we're going to make 3 gravel, turn it into 1 flint. The flint will go in here into another crusher. It'll get crushed, and that turns it into gunpowder. So this is how we're going to get our gunpowder initially. So I guess we can grab, we could do the Mekanism pipes, I suppose. Do we have transporters? I guess, I thought I had some logistical transporters here. I guess not. Let's just use item conduit since we already have that made. I might switch that over to the Mekanism ones, although I'm not really sure how fast we need this right now. It might not be a thing where we need it very fast at all. And then we'll do that and that, and I'm going to need a wrench these guys apart. We want that separated. Actually, maybe we don't. Maybe we want those connected so we can pipe out of here and into here, and then from here over into this one. Or we might have to do something else. We'll figure that out. Anyway, let's just make this super simple for now. We want to have this extracting, always active, going right into here. So we'll insert. This will, I don't mean to turn this thing. Which one's the front? This one? Okay. So the cobblestone will go in here. It'll be crushed into the gravel. We'll find a way to pipe that out into the mechanical crafter. We will set the filter on this guy for 3 of these to make a flint. The flint will get piped out over here. This will be crushed into gunpowder. And then from there, we will continue on. So let me kind of button this up, do a little bit of work, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. Well, here we go. We got all the machines hooked up, and they are doing their thing. Now, I did go ahead and I added in the upgrades for muffling. Yeah, I'm getting tired of hearing the Mekanism machines. And these things are crazy. Like, if they're making a sound, you leave the chunky, you come back, they'll continually make a sound for forever until you log out and log back in or something along those lines. It happens all the time over at our gas burning generators over here that power the base. Like I'll be over here doing something. I'll hear him going and going and going, constantly going. And then you walk right over to our battery and look, and it's not doing anything. So yeah, it's quite the problem with the Mekanism machines. And I assume it's from when I log out, or I guess leave a chunk while they're making sounds, and I come back to the chunk. You can see my game is like doing all sorts of wobbly things. Yeah, my internet, like I said earlier, is acting a little funny right now. It's a little bit later in the night than I normally record. Yeah, but anyway, I got this room mostly done. I need to put in the border up there. I didn't do that yet. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to get this room completed, because this room is in such a weird shape, and we're trying to do like square-ish off walls. So we're running out of room quite quickly, and then we got this thing back here, which I don't know what we're gonna do with. Maybe we'll do like its own little separate thing. But anyway, we got the cobblestone going into the crusher, making the flint. No, making the gravel. The gravel's going over into the auto crafter, making the flint. The flint is going over into the crusher to be turned into gunpowder, and the gunpowder is being ejected into a chemical injection chamber. Cool. So we made some progress here to get the Mekanism ore processing stuff set up, but there's a lot more to go, guys. Even though this is like a lot of work just to get to this point, yeah, this is just scratching the surface of it. So now that we have gunpowder in the chemical injection chamber, we have to pump in hydrogen chloride. That sounds like fun. So in order to make hydrogen chloride, we need to combine chlorine and hydrogen in a chemical infuser. In order to get chlorine, we need brine in an electrolytic separator. And in order to get brine, we need, according to the chart that I'm looking at, a salination plant. So if I type in salination, you can see here nothing's coming up. So obviously the thing that I'm looking at is outdated. So we can look in JEI for brine. And we, in fact, can see this. Now, if we click on this and look at the recipes, we can see that we can get it from, you know, all these different containers or whatever. If we already had it, we don't. So right here looks like a thermal E controller. I'm not sure what this machine is. Let's take a look. Thermal E control. It doesn't show up here. Is it thermal? Let's see. It's this machine. Thermal evaporator controller. Thermal evaporator. This controller for a thermal evaporator plant acting as the master block of the structure. Only one of these should be placed in a multi-block. So it looks like we have to do some kind of a multi-block setup to turn water into brine, maybe. There's also this R condenser, a rotary condenser, which if we had the gaseous brine, we can condense the gas back into a fluid. I was looking at this gaseous brine, or I was trying to find it, and I don't see gaseous brine anywhere. So that might not be like a fluid or whatever that shows up here since it's a gas. Yeah, I don't think any of the Mekanism gases actually show up in JEI. So I don't really know how we can get this stuff. So it kind of looks like we have to do this thermal controller, thermal evaporator. So once again, the thermal evaporator. So a copper alloyed casing used in the structure. Is there like a book on this on how to make this thing? I don't know. Is this thing crazy difficult to make? Let's look. So we scroll through here. So it looks like just some glass paint, a bucket, some thermal evaporator blocks, and 2 of the advanced control. Then we have a thermal evaporator valve. A valve can be placed on the thermal multi-block, allowing fluids to be inserted and extracted via external piping. Okay, but I don't know how big this thing needs to be. So maybe if I make the controller, there'll be some kind of a thing I can click on and it'll show me. I might have to go off to the wiki and look a little bit more, but yeah, unfortunately, I think we're starting to run out of time for today. Well, not in the episode, but for me to record this episode. Yeah, it's getting quite late in the day. You can see, like I said many times now, my internet's starting to act funny. And when that acts funny, I know it's pretty late anyway, because that's when everybody's online doing stuff, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to do some more investigating into this Mekanism thing. If you guys know how the thermal evaporator works, let me know in the comments down below for sure. But like I said, I'm going to do some research on that, try and figure out how to get that hooked up. We're able to make gunpowder. We got that far. Gunpowder from from cobblestone, right? I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a thing. Normally, we would set up like a creeper spawner, which is also kind of cool, but it takes up a lot more space. I think this is kind of nice. It's pretty compact, turning cobblestone right over here into the gunpowder. But yeah, getting that brine, figuring that out, that's definitely something we're going to have to get a hold of. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.